and make sure that we stay within our 1 hour time limit. And we want to make sure that we're answering any questions at the conclusion of this webinar as we're going forward. As I said last week, the idea is that I've got a couple of dudes who I've been working with now for quite some time. These guys are great. That's the reason they're here right now. We built Listing Booster on our end, and then we saw some loan officers just finding extraordinary success with it. They're the guys on the calls with us. They actually came to us and asked us to make changes to the product, and we were more inclined to do that because from our back end we can see exactly what these guys were accomplishing, and they were beating even our expectations. So we've made changes to our products based on information we've got from these guys in the field. They've been kind enough to share what their strategies are and what they've learned, and they've been doing this for a while now. And the whole idea of helping each other out, reciprocity is huge. And so I'm just thrilled to have these guys. Last week we had Michael Fisher. This week we got TJ Barker, and he's going to be sharing a separate strategy. We'll answer any questions. And again, we're going to be doing this every single Tuesday. But over the course of the week, if you want more of this, like I said, it's going to come through Mortgage Shots Kills. And on a side note here, as I've said before, I'm going to say it again. I made a conscious decision last year that I'm going to surround myself and work with loan officers and real estate agents who are kicking ass and trying to find solutions rather than complaints. And since I've done that, it's been great. When I get the high fives from people saying, "Hey, this is totally kicking ass for me," it's the coolest thing. It recharges my battery. So I have a selfish reason for doing this. It makes my job way better when I get to work around people who are just really dedicated to their own personal success. And I absolutely mean that 100%. These guys can tell you. I mean, I have strategically fired people out of Listing Booster, and people in my sphere of influence, just gotten rid of them. This is not worth it. And so, but what I've done is replace those with people who are absolutely fantastic at what they're doing, and it's a better place to be, not only for me, but for everybody's business. Consider that when you're working with your real estate agent, and real estate agents, consider that when you're working with your lenders. Strategically firing people is a very important thing to do. So anyways, we got TJ. He's going to share a strategy with you right now. We are going to record this, so we'll get it over to you afterwards. But just pay close attention and make sure you ask any questions that you guys have. Now, TJ, I'm going to hand this off to you, and hopefully it doesn't shut me down. Okay, TJ, you should be the presenter of record right now. I'm going to close my face down so we get a better internet connection. And it's all you, bud.
All right, cool. I appreciate it. And, of course, on time, the phone rings every single time. So, what's going on, Fish? How you doing, bud?
Doing good, man. What about you?
Good, good. That's the quietest I've ever heard you in the longest period of time.
I know. Well, this is supposed to be your show, and I'm normally the talker, so it's an odd demographic.
All right, so today, Fish, we are going to talk about, and as you well know, when I present, it's always a little bit more interactive, right? I like to ask questions because, frankly, I'm pretty boring. So thank God you are here to interact with me. But we're going to talk about a couple things that every loan officer and real estate agent loves to talk about, right? One thing they love, the other thing they hate. So what's the thing they love? They love leads, right? We all love leads. We love getting leads. We love generating leads. We love seeing the little ding show up on our phone and our email when a new lead comes in. And then we hate working the leads, right? Because when you work the leads, we have to put a little bit of time and effort into it, and that's when people don't answer the phone, don't respond to emails, and then what do we all say? We say the leads are weak. Right, Fish?
Can't the robot just close those leads for me? I mean, isn't there some kind of way that we can just send them a pre-app and then we'll get paid?
Yep, absolutely. That's the dream, right? And that's what we want to go ahead and find a way to do. But yeah, so find me the machine where I can put $1 in and $5 comes out, and I'll sit there all day long and not have to do anything. I'll sit on the beach somewhere, drinking a fruity drink with an umbrella in it, trying to ignore my children, and just cash checks. So, all right, cool. But look, so there's a couple things to ever want to go over here, and I want to be fair, try to get through this fairly quickly, because last time we had a lot of questions at the end of it, and we want to go ahead and, as Brian always says, respect everybody's time, try to get as many questions answered as we can. Fish, and then please, the times when the caffeine kicks in and I start jumbling my words and not being clear, stop me, ask questions, clarify. Cool?
Take it. Let's go.
All right. And as always, everyone, just to let you guys know, Fisher and I were both dumb enough to have children when we were in our late or early 40s, 42. Not together, not together.
I didn't even remember how old I was my last
right. So we're both sleep deprived and highly caffeinated at this point. But one of the things we always talk about is our lead pyramid, which is what we have here. Fish, you see the lead pyramid okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. And we think that Listing Booster is one of the easiest ways to go ahead and generate leads. So, and you guys all know, and we'll talk about it again, but the Facebook opt-in, it really was a game changer in our opinion. There's other things that you can do with these leads. I touched on them briefly when we did this webinar a couple weeks ago. We'll spend a little more time on the detail today. So, all right, so first and foremost, with our lead pyramid, we have what we call the database leads. Fish, what are the database leads? What do we consider those?
Well, those are the leads that we're getting from opt-ins, from open houses, from agents sharing single property websites, from essentially building contacts in our community, people that are somewhat interested, perhaps may not be interested today, perhaps not the most highly targeted leads, but they're ultimately free leads, and we're building a large circle of contacts to continue to market to hopefully find folks that'll reach out when the time is right.
Yep, you nailed it. So database leads, look, we are all in sales. I know we all want to be something else, right? You know, I want to be a certified mortgage consultant, you know, coach, and real estate agents want to be a certified short sale negotiating closing cost person. Like, we all want to be something, but what are we? We're salespeople. So we're in sales. So to be in sales, you have to have a database. You have to work it effectively. So if you haven't been keeping a database, if you haven't worked your database effectively, it takes years to build it up, right? But with Listing Booster, what we're able to do is we're able to go ahead and accelerate that. And you can build a large database that you can market to and you can brand yourself to fairly quickly. And when I say fairly quickly, I'm talking about you could add 10,000 people in a year, easily, for zero ad spend.
Right. 10,000 in 4 months.
Right. I mean, you know, yeah. I mean, it's insane how quickly you do it. And the reason that you can do that is because you're leveraging the property, right? Look, there's a reason that the real estate shows are so popular and have been popular for years. We were watching these shows during the boom, during the crash, after the crash, and now we continue to watch them. Right, Fish? HGTV and A&E and all these other things, it's just nothing but real estate shows. As a society, we love real estate. We love looking at real estate. We love seeing pictures and virtual tours and reading about it and seeing what the prices are, comparing it to where we have and dreaming about one day that could be ours. So we leverage these properties to go ahead and pull people in and get them added to our database. Now, once you have that to your database, you need to market to them in a unique way, right? You can't just send out the basic. I always use the example of one Sunday every month I get 4 Keller Williams emails coming in at the same time from different agents, just from different lists that I've been on. But it's the same content, same headline, it's just from a different person because I happened to sign up for their list at one point. So you want to separate yourself when you're marketing to, and that's a whole nother strategy for a whole nother day. Just want to touch base on it. Okay, this is supposed to be the quick part, Fish, as usual. We talk too much, man. So all right, so.
The house is sexy. People want to hear about the house. Build a list. Build a list and market to it.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, look, if you do that, you'll always be successful. If you have a large enough list that you were marketing to, you'll be successful. So
not to repeat last week's call, but we talked to Brian about the National Real Estate Post, and that's their primary source of revenue is being able to reach a large audience and introduce them to new products and services and out of all the people on their list, they don't all reach out to them and pay for something or buy something from the National Real Estate Post or their affiliates in the course of a year, but over the course of 10 years, and they're constantly providing value to hundreds of thousands of people. Who's going to win? It's a simple
equation. That's the thing with the database, man. We all wish we had built a database 10 years ago, right? 5 years ago, because it takes time. But here's the awesome thing. Based off of where we are today, with the database leads, and then if you follow Brian's model, why do we all trust Brian? Why do we all feel like we know Brian? Because we watch him on video every single day, right? When you and I met Brian in person in Nashville last year, Brian was the same person, essentially, that we watched on video for the last 5 years. We knew him. We got to know him. We were comfortable with him. He had no idea who we were. I mean, he did from us talking to him about Listing Booster, but you know, he didn't know anything about us until that. And he got to know us. We already knew him. So we have an opportunity now to build a database quickly and to video market to that database, get people comfortable and know who you are, build your brand. They're going to come to you when it's time to buy or sell a home or get a mortgage or refinance.
The other thing I didn't quite realize about Brian was that, like, you know, offering to pick up his bar tab, that can get a little pricey. You got to kind of know what you're getting into before you make promises.
Yeah. That's why you notice how I disappeared. Nowhere to be found. So, all right, let's talk about this too. And this is actually one of the things where we first started communicating with Brian and Listing Booster was on Craigslist. Now, we talk about the Craigslist leads. A lot of people tell us, oh, the Craigslist leads, they don't work, they don't work, they don't work. I'm telling you, they do. But here's the secret. At least this is what I found. All right? With the Craigslist, it's about consistency. So you can't just put one post up on Craigslist and sit there and hope that you're going to pull a bunch of leads and a bunch of people out of it and a bunch of people onto your database and a bunch of people are texting you, asking you for more information. Craigslist, you need to be consistent. But I actually find that you get more text message leads, people who are opting in utilizing the text code off of Craigslist, than I do from the people who opt in with Facebook. I have more contact with them immediately. Maybe not over a long period of time, but immediately from Craigslist. Fish, are you doing anything with Craigslist?
Yeah, I'm not doing as much as you. I think you're doing a little better than me on Craigslist.
Remember, I leverage child labor and have my 10-year-old daughter post for me. So
yeah, I have some agents that are using it, and yeah, I see that we're getting more text leads based on just copying the images and the information that's straight out of Listing Booster. And you know, the automation piece that I know you're going to talk about a little bit has made that a lot easier too.
Yeah, I mean, if once you get comfortable with it, you can knock out 3 to 5 listings in 10 minutes on Craigslist. Absolutely. But you know, do it once a day, a couple times a week, whatever the case is. But it's all about consistency with Craigslist. So, all right, let's go. Again, this is supposed to be the quick part. Fish, you about to add something there?
I was just going to say the best part about this kind of stuff, like you said, it takes 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. Most of your competitors won't do it because it takes 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, and that's just, you know, that's beneath them. So that's the best part. This stuff is not hard.
Yeah, no. And to that point, I remember when I first got into the business, you know, we met with a trainer. This is something that always stuck with me. He said, well, you don't have to be a lot better than your competition. You just have to be a little bit better because they set the bar pretty low. And that was years ago. But I feel it's still the same way because exactly what you said, Fish. You know, no one's going to put in 20 minutes to post something on Craigslist, understanding that it's a long-term investment. No one wants to do that because we all want that immediate, instant gratification right now. So, all right, so our next approach here with lead generation is video views. So make sure if you're a real estate agent, make sure if you're a loan officer, you're encouraging your real estate agents to run video or to create video. We talked about that a little bit with the database. Again, you can leverage the properties. You don't have to do the traditional stitching together of the videos, right? Or the pictures to make a virtual tour. Have something that is a little bit more personable. Have something that's a little bit more about the house. You know, a realtor I worked with, you know, a couple of years ago, him and I kind of got into all this together with this, did a great job with that. His name's Paul Gillespie, he's a local guy here in Baltimore. But he used to make they weren't like the highest quality videos, they weren't like these super Hollywood productions, but they were personable and they were interesting, and it was about him showing off these properties. I thought he did a great job with that. And then finally, paid ads. So everyone loves paid ads. We're not necessarily going to get into that today. Fish, we'll talk more about my 5 pieces with the leads or week thing, but I just wanted to real quick go ahead and share with everyone kind of our approach and our view on the lead pyramid here. So, Fish, anything I should clarify before we move to the next slide?
No, let's keep it moving because I think people, you know, they want to go right to the paid ads and you know, they want the leads, like we said, and there's the natural progression. If you understand what's going on in all the steps of this pyramid here, you're going to get much better paid leads, and that's kind of what we're trying to show you guys.
Well, let's go ahead and real quick talk about paid leads, because as we mentioned in the beginning, Fish, they are not the, you know, doing a paid lead. No matter what all the gurus on Facebook, you know, the ads that we all see tell you, as a loan officer and real estate agent, you're not just going to go ahead and put some money into an ad and then just start printing cash, right? You still have to work. You still have to put some effort into it. You're still prospecting. You're just doing it in a different fashion than what we're used to. You know, you're not just picking up the phone and cold calling, or you're not sending out, you know, postcards or direct mail or things like that. We're still prospecting. We're still advertising. We're just doing it in a different manner. So, all right. So let's go ahead and move into the leads of the week. This is kind of my presentation. Again, we talked about it before. So this is really based upon those database leads and database and the Craigslist leads at the bottom of the pyramid. So the 5 things that you can do with these leads: 1, we spoke about build your database, right? 2, Fish, this is one of your specialties, or your real estate agent's specialties. Who is that? Jerry, I think his name is.
Mm-hmm.
So the open house email blast. Fish, real quick, how many people did he have at a recent open house? It was like, you know, 200 or something like that?
Yeah, he had a recent open house. It was 200, and he combined a handful of strategies to do it. But the cool part was that we used the listing booster email list generation piece to have a great discussion on how to best promote an open house.
Right.
So it certainly opened the door to working with him on a level playing field when it came to marketing. And we've used the large list that he's been able to build up to show value to the seller, and drive additional people to look at the property. So it's
right. So he was able to build a huge list. He marketed to that list. We have some people who are talking about they get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people to an open house over the course of a weekend. Yeah, he gets hundreds of people to come in. So if you're a real estate agent, think about that. If you're sitting down for a listing appointment and you say, oh, by the way, my last open house, we had 50 people come through because I had this huge list, this huge database that we tell about, that we market to. You know, and then you know, the next person has 2 people to come through. So again, easy way to go ahead and do that. Social stalking, Fish, we spoke about this last week. You know, that is again, one of your specialties. For a lookalike audience, I want to go ahead and get into a little more detail on this as well. And then finally, 5, a retargeting campaign. So we're about 20 minutes into this, and typically there are a good amount of questions on this, so let's move fairly quickly, all right? So the leads are weak. Here's part 1, how to build a database. Well, this is simple. We all know this, right? This piece right here was really, do we call it the game changer? Fish, what really took Listing Booster, I think, from a good product to a very good product to a great product. You know, this right here, continue with Facebook. Fish, why is that piece important right there, the continue with Facebook button?
because that takes us from just being standard marketers and marketers that operate like we did maybe all the way up to 2010, and allows us to start thinking like internet marketers, like the folks that say robots are going to take our jobs. And you know, ultimately we need to understand how folks are interacting and communicating in today's day and age. Certainly not on the telephone. I mean, it's all online, it's all on their phone. So if we're able to reach them where they're at and get them to engage with us where they're at and build audiences and connect with people in our local community online before we meet them face to face, we're going to find a lot more success than if we just spend all of our time trying to make the traditional methods work. Now, those certainly traditional methods in hustle, not taking anything away from that, they do work.
So, and you're applying traditional methods, but to this online space, right? So we're still prospecting, we're still communicating, we're still selling, we're still branding, etc. The big piece, though, that I think that makes this so awesome is the continue with Facebook. What are you getting when someone clicks that? You're getting a Facebook verified name, email address, and about 10% of the time, phone number. I mean, that's huge. That's huge because when someone clicks continue with email, what's the email that's going in there? Is it Michael Fisher at michaelfisher.com? Or is it GoPoundSand at you're never going to get my email address.com?
Yep.
So that second one's useless to us, but the first one is great. So it's as we said, it's the easiest way to go ahead and build a database and to make sure it's good, clean, verified email or names and email addresses. So and phone numbers. So real quick, the open house blast, we spoke about this. This is a pretty simple approach to doing this. What do? You go into Listing Booster, you download the web leads into a CSV file, you upload it into whatever CRM you're using. Fish, what's the best CRM for everyone to use?
The one that they actually use, the one that they take action with. That's my standard answer.
Yeah, it's funny. I was having a conversation with another business person the other day. He's not in our space, but he's kind of learning how to incorporate the various tools, the ClickFunnels, the lead pages, CRMs, etc. And he was talking to me. He asked me, he's like, well, what about Aweber? What about Infusionsoft? What about this? What about this? And I broke that out. I was like, look, it's whichever one you'll use, whichever one you're comfortable with. And as someone who owns about 4 different, CRM / autoresponders / email services, you're right. I complain about Aweber all the time. I always go back to it because I'm comfortable with it and I use it. So it's whichever one you're going to use. But anyway, you just upload this, and with consistent branding, where you're not hitting people upside the head constantly, you can do what Jerry does, and you can drive, 50, 75, 100 plus people to the open houses. And what's that do when they're at your open house? You're a real estate agent, you're at that open house, and they're sitting there, face to face with you, and you're shaking their hands and you're talking with them. They're just getting to know you a little bit more and getting comfortable. It goes back to what we spoke about with Brian earlier today. We all felt like we knew Brian because we watched him for so many years on video. Now these people are getting to know you face to face. Who are they going to come to? Maybe they're not buying a house right now, but when it's time, who are they going to? The person that they know, the person that they marketed to, the person that they met in person, the person whose hand they shook, the person who they looked in the eye. Does that make sense, Fish?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So this is your piece right here. Or not, I shouldn't say your piece. This is, one of your things that you do specialize on. Anything to add to this as far as the open house email blast goes?
Well, just the part I want to add to it is something we've talked about many times. Is important to get the seller to share the single property website with as many people as they can. So the seller's friends end up opting in, and you're building a database of people in that neighborhood who you have one connection with already. You already know the seller, so why not try to meet their friends? This is an excellent opportunity to meet the seller's friends. I mean, this is perfect. You're having a party in their neighborhood, and they're invited. So if you type your email up correctly and you pre-market it correctly by getting this single property website out there to generate those contacts, there's no reason the neighbors don't come by. I mean, you want them to come by. You might even want to go tell their neighbors, hey, if you're one of the neighbors for so-and-so property, put that on your email, and the parking gets a little bit busy, go ahead and give me a call, because sometimes these open houses get a little hectic. Then those neighbors are going to be like, man, the Joneses' house was packed the other day. What was going on there? Oh, yeah, it's this guy, Jerry. He just looks like he sold their house in like a day or something. Hey, Martha, what are we doing? Let's reach out to Jerry. I mean, that's...
And what happens? Those neighbors start looking at the home and be like, oh, my God, it sold for what?
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to put our house on the market?
Mm-hmm. So,
but, I mean,
after that open house and after he sells the house, I know this is jumping ahead, guess what the agent needs to do? He needs to send a, hey, under contract or just sold, or all the kind of things that the agents specialize in, sending out those emails to their database and telling everybody, how quickly they sold the house, and just sold 5% over list price in 2 days. Well, you're sending that to all the seller's friends who already know the seller. So when the seller opts in, when the seller's friends opt in, you got their email. Right. You can find them on Facebook because you're friends with the seller. You can be friends with them. You can start messaging them. You can talk to them all day long.
Which goes into social stalking, right? Fish, you see how we built this? Everything kind of leads into something else, right? So
this is what I do. So right. I'll take a property that's in an area that I really focus on, where I know a lot of people, and I'll work extra hard to help the agent market it because I have so many common connections in that area. So then
what are you doing? You're posting on Facebook when the properties are sold, right? Yep. Who's seeing it? All the common friends. Mm-hmm. So now they're starting to see it. They're seeing that you're the mortgage loan officer on this, that did an awesome job, that beat every expectation that was out there. They see that the real estate agent you're working with sold it for 2% over, whatever, because we're in an inventory shortage right now. So most offers are coming in high. At least that's what we're experiencing here in my area. You're just constantly promoting to this database that you're building. And how many times have we said it? Are we going to say it? And we're going to continue to say it. You're building the brand, right? You're building the brand, and it's all built off of these no-cost leads that took you 5 minutes to post in 4 or 5 Facebook groups like you showed last week, and you posted on Craigslist. You put an hour's worth of time in per week, and you're building this brand, and you're building this database that you're constantly marketing to, that you're going to generate both current and future business to. So.
And you're teaching the agent how to do it too. I mean, once they see success from what you're doing, they're much more likely to do it themselves. So yes, the newer agents to Listing Booster, you do have to help them with some of this heavy lifting. You have to follow up to make sure they're sharing their properties, and you need to perhaps show them what you're doing to generate these contacts. But over the course of a month or two, as their listings are generating contacts, as they're seeing success from what you're teaching them, they're going to start taking more action in doing kind of what you're teaching them or showing them that you're doing. They're going to duplicate your efforts because of the value that it's creating for them. It's quite simple. But if if you do it one time and then you expect them to do it, that doesn't always work. I mean, you gotta truly partner with them, like you said.
Right. So I think the big piece of this is, or not a big piece. One of the things that we recommend is that if you're a loan officer or if you're a real estate agent, whomever you are watching this right now, partner up with someone who is going to be a true partner with you. So if you're a real estate agent, find an LO that's going to be a partner with you. Well, how many LOs are out there looking for new real estate agents? All of them. Shouldn't be too hard. And if you're a loan officer, make sure you find a real estate agent that's like-minded, that's willing to go ahead and be your partner and not just have you do the work for them. Because when you do the work for them, you're really just making yourself just a service provider and not a true partner in all this. And once you get 15, 20, 25, 50 agents, 100 agents, if you max out like a few people have, there's no way that you have the time or the ability to do the work for the real estate agent. Does that make sense, Fish?
Absolutely, man.
All right, let's move on. Social stalking, again, we spoke a lot about that last week, but like here's one I got. 43 mutual friends. I send him a friend request. How quickly is he going to accept that? Pretty darn quick, because we have so many friends in common. He's not even going to look at it, not even going to think twice. So, all right, so here we go. Lookalike audience. This is probably one of my 2 favorite strategies. And I could probably say that for every strategy we talk about. But this is one of my favorite strategies because we all know I love paid ads, right? I love running ads. I love marketing. I love finding new ways to generate leads. Our buddy Steve Green is always telling me that I shouldn't be doing this. That should be focusing on the local, face-to-face, shaking hands. But I just love doing this, and I think a lot of people do too. But the lookalike audience in Facebook is one of my favorite ways to generate an audience that I am going to run an ad to. So, Fish, the lookalike audience, how does it work? We know that what we're going to do is we're going to take an area, trying to figure out a way to do this without confusing people too much on this. So basically, if you have a property that is in a zip code, you know that there's a certain demographic that's going to be interested in that, right? Because folks that are looking in that area, that's probably who you want to advertise to. Does that make sense, Fish? Give me a better way to explain that.
Well, you're building people that have as many things in common with the buyers that you're currently working with, that the buyers that are reaching out to you for more information. So you're just trying to. You don't necessarily want to advertise to 18-year-olds or 75-year-olds.
If you're selling a $750,000 home, you should probably advertise that to a different market than a $125,000 property. So what we like to do is, let's say that we have that $125,000 property, and we're trying to go ahead and really push that, and we've had a lot of people opt in. 75, 100, 150, 200 people opt in to that property. We want to build what's known as a lookalike audience. So Facebook is going to take a look at those 100 people that have opted in, and they're going to create a brand new audience for you that are all of similar characteristics. Does that make sense, Fish?
Absolutely.
And that's who you want to advertise to. You don't want to advertise that $750,000 home to that audience that's looking to buy a $125,000 home, because all you're doing is wasting your time, wasting your money. Doesn't make sense. So to build a lookalike audience, it's pretty simple. Once you get into the Ads Manager, you click on Audiences, Custom Audience, and you want to upload the customer file. So you take that CSV file of the people who have opted in, and you upload it into the customer file right there. Once you have that, you go into lookalike audience, and you basically go down here and hit create audience. It's that simple. It's that simple. Once you have
what I
that,
really like about this, TJ? People, they say we want to run ads to the property, and the realtors aren't doing all these ads, and we don't want to do all the ads for them. I understand all that, but if you're working with multiple agents and you end up with, like we say, 10,000 different leads as a loan officer, you can pull that audience of all your real estate agents, and you can create that custom audience and then start to brand yourself as a loan officer. Run ads, that are perhaps more related to being a loan officer, some kind of video ads, things of value, things that make sense. Now, we all know going out and talking about loans isn't always the best way to do it, and Brian will be teaching us a ton of ways. There's some in the Mortgage Shots Kills group already, as to how to get people to know that you're the go-to person as a loan officer without being annoying and just sounding like you're selling loans all day. Right. So you can create those ads like Brian's talking about, and it's cool to have an ad, but if you don't put it in front of anybody, it doesn't do any good. So,
or if you don't put it in front of the right people.
Correct. So we build this exceptional audience of ideal clients in the area that we live and work in most, and then we combine that with videos that are just engaging, entertaining, and enriching, and all of a sudden everybody knows us, and we're fabulous Facebook fish, or we're TJ. I mean, you go to the Waffle House and people are like, who the heck is that bald guy? I've seen him somewhere.
I don't go to the Waffle House. Real quick, Fish, I think I said when we were talking about uploading and creating the first audience, I think I said lookalike audience. It's a custom audience first, where you're going to go ahead and you're going to upload your CSV file to. Then once that's uploaded and you've created that custom audience, you're going to create the lookalike audience from that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So think about the different things. I mean, you just kind of stole the thunder there as usual. I'm getting used to it after all this time. But you can do with that highly targeted lookalike audience, right? Run video view ads. Video view ads are a great way to get your message out there extremely, extremely cheap, right? 1 cent, 2 cents, 3 cents per video. And that's not necessarily about having this huge call to action and having people opt in, calling you up and saying, Fish, I'm ready to go ahead and buy a home. It's almost like running a little bit of a mini commercial out there. But instead of having to pay a bunch of money to have your commercial going on the local cable channel or public access channel or something like that, you run it to the audience where they are, which we all know right now is on Facebook. Facebook is still king of this, and your people are getting to know who you are. You're Michael Fisher, the Facebook mortgage guy. You're giving tips. You're using Brian's Yelp strategy, and you're telling people that there's a Pink Floyd, tribute show, laser show this weekend. People are getting to know you, and they're getting to know you and liking you more for who you are than necessarily what you do. But we know that that audience is also potential customers because they've opted in and requested more information about a property on Listing Booster. Make sense, Fish?
What excites me about this?
I do not.
I can't wait for Joey Evans to watch this. I'm going to make sure he watches it and learn how to run these video view ads with the videos he's making about baseball games and things like that. And he's going to supplant all these 30-year-old veterans in his market with things that really aren't that difficult, but so many loan officers act like it's too hard, act like it takes too much time. Oh my God, I have to click all these buttons. I just need to pay somebody else to do this. The stuff we're showing you guys, literally, if I can learn how to do it, if TJ can learn how to do it, you can learn how to do it. It's not hard at all.
This is all you need, right? You just need your phone, your iPhone. Works great. Or I'm sure Android does too. I'm not an Android guy, and let's not get into the Android iPhone debate type of thing. But it's super simple, and you can create videos. And Joey makes amazing videos, right? But you don't need all that. You don't need green screens and special effects. Just do a video and let your personality come through. It works phenomenally well. And here's one more thing. and I'm sorry, mortgage folks, none of us like to hear it. Nobody cares about mortgages until it's time to get a mortgage, right? So when you do videos, you'll be like, oh, just to let you know, guys, the consumer confidence level came in really low, and so I expect rates to increase, and we're looking at the 200. Now leave that to Barry, right? Because the general public doesn't worry about that. They're not concerned about that. They want to know. They want to see what excites them, stuff that's fun, that entertains them, engages them.
Bad credit, no credit. Call me.
Yeah, bad credit, no credit. Talk about a way to go ahead and get yourself set up for a long day of pulling applications that are never going to happen when you run something like that. So just kind of keep that in mind if you are doing videos, or no matter what you're doing when you're on Facebook. Brand TJ Barker, brand Michael Fisher. Let people get to know, like, and trust you. So once again, we're moving off topic, but that is what we do, Fish. So hey, looks like we're doing pretty good on time here. It's about 1:40. I have one more thing to go ahead and go over here. That was sometimes for Q&A, and then you guys can add to what we want here. But all right, Fish. Any other comments or questions about the lookalike audience?
Just the hardest thing for most LOs is to log in and do it. I mean, it's the simplest thing in the world once you have done it once.
Right. The thing is, you can't create a lookalike audience until you're actually building out the database. Building the initial audience. Mm-hmm. So when we say we build on top of each other, the pyramid builds on top of it.
If you're stuck on it, post in the Mortgage Shots Kills group. We will help you. It's not that hard. I've helped dozens of loan officers figure this out with literally like a 1-minute YouTube video. It's just jumping in and getting familiar with how the ad setup looks, starting the ad up and doing the uploads, just like TJ showed the screenshots on. It's really easy.
So, all right, and then finally, retargeting, right? So retargeting, that is probably, and we've all heard it, we all have seen commercials on it or advertising forms on Facebook. So what is retargeting? The example I always give, and in this situation, this is the Tough Mudder website. At some point, I had it in my head that I was going to go ahead and do a Tough Mudder, and then I remembered I'm almost 44, so no excuse. So I was on the Tough Mudder website, checking out upcoming events, etc. May 20th to 21st in Philly. Phew, thank goodness I missed that one. So I'm on the website, and then lo and behold, what happens? On Facebook, I see an ad for Tough Mudder. So basically what retargeting is, we're all familiar with the term cookies, right? So, or tracking pixel. Basically all that is a piece of HTML code that pulls our information within Facebook and shares it and allows us to advertise to these people again. So Tough Mudder obviously had a tracking code on their website, and now they're retargeting me through a Facebook ad. You can do the same thing as a real estate agent or as a loan officer. So within Listing Booster, there is the opportunity to insert a tracking pixel. Very simple, right, Fish? I think it's just under social media settings.
Mm-hmm. Social media settings. Yep, and you pull the code right out of Facebook, the pixel.
Yep, right out on Facebook, copy and paste it. Look, that's a whole nother day, whole nother strategy, whole nother class talking about that. But most of us, I think a lot of us know what that means, know how to do that. If you don't, Mortgage Shots Kills. So that's pretty simple. I think Fish and I have like 5 1-minute YouTube videos on how to do that we can share. But if someone has raised their hand that says, I am interested in this property, there's a reason they're doing that, right, Fish? I mean, it might be just they're peeping Tom and they want to see the property. Might be that they're interested in buying a home. Might be that they're interested in seeing what the inside of townhouses look like. Might be that they're interested in what homes sell for in a certain area. Whatever the case is. But there's a reason that they have opted in to see that. There is. It's just like there's a reason someone picks up the phone and calls you as a loan officer. I promise it's not for the witty conversation, right? There's a reason that someone is doing that. But maybe they're not ready to pull the trigger today. Maybe they need a little bit more help. What's the stat go? Like average sale takes 7 touches, 10 touches, something like that before someone makes a commitment. So if as a
we
real
all know
estate,
this, but then we expect different results online.
right?
We take classes and they tell us, all the time, you got to touch them 7 times. Well, sometimes we get a phone number as salespeople. Okay, well, I'm going to put in my calendar. I know I got to call them 7 times. We do 2 or 3 times. Most good salespeople, that's all they do.
Right, you send a text message, send an email, and you make one phone call, and you keep your fingers crossed. You're like, oh, God, please go to voicemail. Please go to voicemail. But
why wouldn't you stay in front of them as a realtor, as a loan officer, if you know they're the hottest prospects in your market? People that are currently actively looking and searching and clicking, if you don't stay in front of them, Zillow will, Realtor.com will. I mean, they all have pixels.
Someone's going to get in front of them, right? Someone's going to get in front of them.
Reach out for information. So if you or your realtor partners, through your help and training and coaching, learn how to stay in front of them, guess who they're going to reach out to when the time's right. If you happen to be there and they've seen you over and over and you're engaging, you got a good crack at that one. Dig it. I dig it.
Cool. Yeah, but no, I agree with you, man. It's just about staying in front of people. But I mean, it could be something as simple as doing a, hey, are you still interested in buying a home? If you're a real estate agent, and someone's opting into the home in, where are you, Novi? Mm-hmm. So still interested in buying a home in Novi? Click here for your list. Something as simple as that, but someone who's expressed interest in there. For us, it could be, something, and there's so many different ways you can do it. But again, these are people that we know that are interested. So typically with a retargeting campaign, you want to get a lower cost per lead. You want to get a higher conversion ratio. But ultimately, what does it come down to, guys? It's staying in front of them. It's following up with them. It's doing what we need to do as salespeople and prospecting and continuing to prospect and ask for the sale. So,
last thing on that, TJ, some of my higher level agents, as they dive deep into this with me, they show their sellers that this is what they do. They say, hey, you guys have seen this stuff in Home Depot and other places. We do the same thing. We keep track of who's clicking all around town, and when we put your property out there, we put it out there in front of all these people that are clicking. So, our marketing strategy is better than anyone's because these are all the things we do to generate contacts. So, it's about building value for the sellers and for the agents, and this is just another tool and another strategy. If you implement a ton of them and your agents implement a ton of them, guess who's going to win?
Yep. So, all right, so last piece I have, and it'll be super quick, but this bring it all back around to what Brian said earlier. Look, we gave you 5 distinct ways to work the database leads today, plus we showed you kind of our lead pyramid. Don't try to do all of them at once. Don't try to sit here and say, hey, I just watched a 45-minute webinar with TJ and Fish, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set up I'm going to build a database, I'm going to video market to it, and I'm going to do a retargeting campaign, I'm going to do a lookalike audience, and I'm going to do social stalking, and I'm going to do email blasts. Like Brian said, take your time, do a little bit of time, get a good understanding of what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how to do it before moving on to the next step. Because ultimately what's going to happen is you're going to suffer from TJ syndrome, and there's another shiny object's going to roll across your desk, and you're going to get something 20%, 25, 40, 50% done, and you're never going to complete it, and you're never going to have the success that you should have. So that's it. That's all I got, gentlemen. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, what we're going to do right now is just answer some questions. We've got just a few minutes left, so we'll burn through these. Okay. Evangeline says, actually a number of people, how or where do I join Mortgage Shots Kills? Just go to mortgageshots.com, mortgageshots.com. There's a tab at the top that says Kills, and just click that, and you're going to want to put your name and your email in there, just fill out the fields. And then we will give you the invite for the private page. So you can't really search it. So just go to mortgageshots.com, then go to the Kills tab at the top, and give us your information. We'll get you in there. And by the way, that's a great filtering process. If we can't figure that one out, we're probably not a good match. So mortgageshots.com, go to the Kills tab, give us your information. Okay, so let's see. Mark Wilson, is there a way to do mass messaging in Facebook to the customers that opt in?
No, I would say.
Okay.
That. I mean, that's going to be.
what you can do, Mark, on this, and this is what I personally do, this is one of my strategies I haven't taught yet, this has worked really well for me, is I use those databases to drive people to Facebook groups that I admin, and then I put more content in. So I'm in control of the content, but I've come up with something of value. One of my most successful Facebook groups is a local buy-sell group, and when folks are opting into all the listing booster landing pages, they get an email from me at some point inviting them to join this property group on Facebook because it's this hot property group. They go to join the group. Now I know who they am, or they just listen.
Who they am?
I need to go back to U of M.
That's it. That's that Michigan education right there, buddy.
Yeah, I need 6 more copies. Now they know what's going on. And what I'll do at that point is myself or my loan partner will send them a welcome message, explain what's going on in the group. We have an intro video in the group. So they see me, they see my brand, they see a message. We start interacting that way. So I'm moving them from a cold email list into a Facebook group, much like today we're moving you into our Mortgage Kills group so we can interact more. So that's a strategy that's worked really well for me. I've been doing this for a couple years in a handful of different ways. I'll talk about that more in the upcoming weeks out of ways to really figure out who these people are and engage with them and stay in front of them on Facebook and not just through email lists.
Tess Kerr says, is there something to reference or show us how to use Craigslist? Tess, one of the things that you can do is, this is Brian, go ahead and send me a private message on Facebook. If we're friends on Facebook, go just Brian Stevens. And what I'll do is our team here will actually do the posting for you. And that goes for everybody else. If you want us to post your agents to Craigslist, just send me a message. I'll make sure I hook you up with our team, and we'll get those postings going for you. It just takes a little work off your plate for you. There's no charge for it. The only thing you have to do is pick up our phone calls and click a couple buttons, but we will do the heavy lifting for you. So Tess, go to Brian Stevens on Facebook, and we'll get that taken care of. What's the best CRM to use? I'm searching for something for mortgages or a simple CRM. Any suggestions? And don't say whatever works best. Give me one. I know you're going to say that. Don't say that.
I think we're going to do that like next week or the week after, but we definitely have our favorites.
Yeah, and if you want to hop in early, so LionDesk, has some pretty cool functionality. And then if you really want to get into it, we have been really dragged kicking and screaming towards Active Campaign just because of some of the functionality that can be done with it. But this is a situation that we actually have people helping us with Active Campaign because of all the cool stuff you can do. So I think if you want to choose one right off the bat to test one, I'd say LionDesk. Fish, agree?
The thing I like about LionDesk most is that it's real estate agent friendly. And I think as a loan officer, if you can learn a system that your realtor partners use, then again, you're more valuable because if they get stuck and they need some help, you're again an expert or subject matter specialist or go-to person on that CRM. So I'd highly recommend you check LionDesk out because it's gaining a ton of traction in the real estate community, and it's fairly straightforward and simple. We definitely have some videos on it. We'll probably be sharing in Kills with them in the next few weeks too. So.
And by the way, what these guys just talked about is we're going to be doing one of these just on CRMs. So we're going to talk about a number of different things. So just keep that in mind. Okay, Brad says, can you go back through that? Brad, let me know what that is that you're looking for. Gary Cooper says that he's been trying to get a hold of somebody at IT at Listing Booster to help him link to your Facebook and have yet to receive a phone call back. Boys, you know anybody named Gary Cooper? Look into that, please, and if you can get back to me in the next second, that'd be great. Okay. Gary, we'll let you know in a second.
Donald Trump, you're fired.
You're fired. No, actually, what happens is when we, and I don't know Gary, so I'm not, that this isn't a reflection on him, but more than often when somebody says they're not getting a phone call back, what we're finding is they're not picking up their phone and we're leaving messages. But anyways, if for some reason somebody got missed, we're certainly going to look into that. We're going to make sure we call Gary in a second. Okay, Tracy says, are you doing this under your personal page or your business page?
I think we touched on this a little bit last week. We're doing both. When we're sharing the single property websites, we're generally doing it off of our personal page, but it really comes down to where you personally have the most traction as a loan officer. If you engage with all of your friends and past clients on your personal page and you only post on your business page once a month to share a listing, you're not going to see a lot of action out of that business page.
Well, even if you have 3,000 people on your business page, only 5% people see it and it's not paid. You know, so my thing is always business page is for paid ads. You know, personal page is, you know, where you want to have most of your traction from. But for folks who like their business page, post to your business page, share to your personal page, type of thing.
Okay, Jason says, if that question is about messaging straight through Facebook Messenger, then yes, there's a way, but you need to get them to engage first with your Facebook page, not profile, or you end up in Facebook jail. Okay.
Right. That's why we suggest the group that Fish spoke about. Instead of just blasting people you don't know from Facebook Messenger, get them to the group, get to know them, become friends with them, interact there.
Okay. Does anybody else has another question? Pop it in right now. Great job as always, TJ. This was wonderful.
Thanks,
Again, if you want to engage us all more collectively, just go to mortgageshots.com, go to the Kills, fill out the information. We'll get your invites over to you and get you set up with the Kills community. We're going to be going over a ton of stuff in coming weeks and months. I'm super excited about it. We've got tons of modules built out. We've got accountability software in there, which we're going to be using with you guys, and putting together just some really great campaigns for you. And I look forward to that, and I look forward to working with you guys because I know some of the results that you guys are getting. Gary, I got your second message. I got your number here. You're going to be getting a phone call if you're still here in the next couple of seconds. Then if we have one more questions. Do you do mass chats? And this is Bernie Ashley.
I know, Bernie.
Yeah. Like mass chats with clients or with everyone in Kills? Yes.
Well, let's just put that down there. I mean, we're going to be actively involved with any questions that anybody has, and of course, if there's mass chats, we would certainly participate with those. Would you recommend doing that? I don't know how you would do mass chats with any list that you would get, because you're dealing with a lot of people that you don't know, and frankly, I think that would annoy people to see a whole bunch of people CC'd on these. If you're not involved with, if you're not interested in the mass chat, you don't want to have 50 people responding and lighten up your instant messenger and stuff like that. I would personally, my knee jerk is I'd lean against it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean,
the only case, where I would see that would be effective with these strategies is if you're coaching a group of agents together on how to get better at using Listing Booster and Market, you can put all those agents in a mass chat, and then whenever you release relevant videos and data to help them, communicate with them through a mass email or mass Facebook message. That would be effective.
Yeah, but you got to be careful with it. See, like you said, Brian, you can't abuse it, because what happens is if this starts going out of control and you get 10, 15, 20 messages in a matter of 10 minutes, you get annoyed, your phone dinging, and then you wind up leaving the chat.
Okay. And I think that's about it. So we got a recording of this. We'll make sure we get it out. You're going to get an invite, everybody, for next Tuesday, where we're going through a different strategy. I'm going to be taking this one on. And again, Mortgage Shots Kills, where you guys want to be. We'll answer any questions for you. And as I said at the beginning of this, for us, it's fun to see people succeed, where you get those proverbial high fives where things are working out for you. That's what makes it all worth it for us. So jump in there. I appreciate you guys being here. We kept you under an hour, and we will catch you guys all next Tuesday. TJ, Michael, thank you guys so much.
All right, thanks, Brian.
All right,